and we've issued a total of 35 permits. And that's the month of April for this report. The major projects that we're currently working on is the Ecos project, which is on County Line Road. They're moving along pretty well. We just issued their windows permits and their roof permits, so they're continuing along and calling in all their inspections through a private provider. So we're getting their updated report so we could close out their project. Other items that we have going on in our department is we have a few training courses that's coming up, especially in the month of May and June, in between all the conferences from Building Officials Association, Florida Association of Code Enforcement, and also floodplain management courses that are coming up throughout the month of June. Other than that, wanted to shift gears and also speak about emergency management. Just wanted to bring up to the commissioner's attention that the new Senate Bill 180, which reflects the June 8th, is to make sure that all the elected officials have their training for emergency response. And that was something that was pushed through the state, so they're just making sure that everybody has their certifications. I know last year it was already set up from previous management to do that training and received a certificate. So I just wanted to push that over to the state to make sure everybody is covered. If we don't have that certificate, it's a 4-hour course that needs to be done online.
My question is, what happened to the certificates?
That I'm not 100% sure. I wasn't part of the training. I heard that it was hand delivered to each commissioner. Oh.
Yeah, I have.
To the state, so that way everybody is covered, and we only have to do that update every 2 years.
Okay.
With that, as we know, hurricane season is right around the corner on June 1st, 2026. And the National Weather Service, NOAA, has predicted for the Atlantic hurricane season that there will be about 8 to 14 named storms. Out of those named storms, 3 to 6 will be hurricanes, and 1 to 3 will be major hurricanes. They still predict that this Atlantic season is going to be below margin of number of hurricanes due to the fact that it's a El Nino season. But they always stress out that it only takes 1 hurricane to come through. So we are preparing for the new hurricane season. In the meantime, our emergency management team has been meeting with the directors, going through the hurricane preparedness manual, updating the procedures and contact information so we have everything ready to go. Also, we are doing an emergency mass notification phone call, so everybody's phone and text messages will go off on Friday, working with our PIO to make sure that everything goes smoothly. Other than that, what else? And that is actually all. Any questions?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Is code enforcement going to do a once around the town for debris, loose items?
As part of our rapid assessment, once the storm goes through.
Okay.
Actually, we're going to be readjusting that too, work with Public Works to have somebody out there as well.
All right. Thank you.
That concludes reports. I'm going to jump ahead and get our lobbyist out of here today to 9.14. A motion to approve and extend the agreement with lobbyist Jordan Connors, sponsored by interim town manager Segerton.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. Commissioners, Mr. Connors' contract expires on May 31st, and he's been doing good work for us in Tallahassee. He's going to have a brief report, a recap of the budget special session, which was very successful for the town. And we would like to extend his contract through the end of the fiscal year, September 30th, so that we can then line him up with all of the other contractors. That's and staff recommends approval.
Jordan, you want to give us an update on what this legislative session is brought to all of us.
Make sure this doesn't explode here. Good evening. Excuse me. I'm Jordan Connors with the Jordan Connors Group. I'm glad to be here to provide you with a mayor and vice mayor and commissioners with a brief update on what happened with the special session on the budget. I'm proud to serve as part of the lobbying team along with CAS Governmental Services, Dee Carper, David Sigerson, who seems like he got a promotion. Anyway, the budget process took some time this year. We went into overtime, sort of like last year, but on Friday the legislature will pass the budget out. Highlights of the budget is both of the city's priority projects. The Park Road South stormwater improvement for $500,000 is in the budget, and also the multi-use community-wide service center got half funding at $237,500. The proposed budget represents a slight decrease from the current year. The budget right now is the current year is 114 billion, 114.8 billion. This budget's coming in at 114 billion, 0.5. It will be sent to the governor for his final approval. All projects are subject to his approval. We're going to have to get through that veto process, which is right now I haven't heard a number that he may want to reach this year, being his last session. They've been pretty hefty vetoes in the past, number-wise. So hopefully we will be able to survive the veto process. I do want to thank the sponsors, our legislative sponsors, Senator Pizzo and Representative Woodson, for their continued support and advocacy. They've really worked hard to help bring these projects in for a landing. Also, the governor has called a special session for next week, from June 1st to the 3rd, on property tax reform. He had a press conference today where he talked about proposing raising the homestead up to $250,000, which on the property tax reform. We'll see how this goes next week. So if there's any questions on the budget, I'll be glad to answer them.
No questions, just that we want to thank you for the great job that you did and just want to thank you for all the great work that you did and for all that hard work that you did Sunday night to get our stuff in. So we appreciate all your hard
It
work.
was a team effort. It really was.
Thank you. And we look forward to working with you in the future.
And Mr. Mayor, thank you for coming up during session, and Commissioner Morissette for coming up during session. It really helps when the leaders come up and meet with the delegation and talk issues. It really helps, makes our job a lot easier.
Yeah, let's just hope we make it through the veto. But thanks for getting us on there for the last one.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Everyone all right with consent to extend his contract through September? So he's on board with all the other lobbyist contracts coming next year?
Yes.
I agree.
Consent. Ordinances, first reading, 7.1, consideration and approval of the M1 text amendment for data centers, artificial intelligence facilities, and fee schedule sponsored by Town Planner Consultant. You do not look like Michael B.
I know.
That's a
I
compliment.
hope I look better.
That's
Yes.
a compliment.
Don't tell him I said that, though. Ordinance number 2026-010. Town Attorney, could you read the title only, and then we'll proceed?
Happy to, Mr. Mayor.
For the record, it's ordinance number 2026-010. It's an ordinance of the Town of Pembroke Park, Florida, amending Chapter 28 entitled Zoning, Article 3 entitled District Regulations, Division 6 entitled M1 Industrial District, Section 28-211 entitled Intent and Definitions, Sections 28-211.5 entitled Permitted Uses, and Section 28-212 entitled Uses Requiring a Special Exception to allow for the regulation of data centers and artificial intelligence training facilities, establishing definitions, prohibiting data centers as a permitted use, requiring special exception, use approval for data centers, imposing location, infrastructure, climate resilience, employment, and operational standards, imposing various fees and financial assurances, requiring decommissioning, providing for enforcement, providing for codification, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. On the floor, Mr. Mayor and Commission, number 2026-010. Thank you, Mayor.
I'd say Michael V. right about now, but go ahead.
Mayor, I'm sorry if I may.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. For the record, my name is Andrea Harper, acting town consultant planner for the town. Tonight, we have before you for your consideration is we're proposing a M1 text amendment for data centers and artificial intelligence facilities. Pick my screen. Let's see. This work. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to get it.
It's Pembroke Park. We're used to things being broken around.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you advance it, please?
I wanted to get my screen up. It froze. Okay, go back. Alright.
Well, at least we don't have blue screens anymore.
That's better.
The blue screen of death.
Okay. Alright, just to give you a little background or a reasoning on why. The recent Florida State Senate Bill 484 was recently passed, affirming local authorities over planning and land development regulations for large load users, including data centers. Second is the town authorized the preparation of a local regulatory framework for data centers and AI facilities. And thirdly is data centers and artificial training facilities burden the existing water and electric facilities due to high demands on both. And they also don't create jobs. As the town attorney mentioned earlier in the ordinance, we're amending the following sections of chapter 28, section 28-211, 28-211.5, and 28-212 to establish regulations for data centers and AI facilities to protect the infrastructure and ensure land use compatibility. And also with this, we are adding a fee schedule. We create a fee schedule, and you should see that in your packets. I don't know if you follow that. Get a chance. Here's a map. If by special exception only, if they one was to get passed, these are the locations that we can put them in. That's my conclusion of my presentation. If you have any questions, I want to say that Commissioner Muhammad, we did get your email, and we're going to incorporate these in the new ordinance as well. And if you give us some time, maybe after the summer session, we'll get it on. Okay.
Ms. Harper,
Sure.
I know these data centers, they draw huge amounts of power. They demand huge amounts of power. How does that play into where they're thinking about locating something like that?
Well, it's almost be impossible because then they can't meet concurrency here. You know, the water demand, they'll never
Pembroke
get.
Park doesn't have enough room to
No,
put one of
at
these
all.
mega data centers in.
No,
We don't have the fresh water that they need to cool the systems
I don't
down.
believe so either. Yeah.
And we don't have the electrical power to put them in. So there should not be one ever in Pembroke Park.
Ever.
I have a comment, and that's when you see the complaints about existing data centers, one of the serious complaints is vibration and noise. That people within miles of it can literally feel in their houses. So that's another argument for not having it here.
Yes, indeed. I agree. And we're going to look at our noise ordinance and also update our ordinance, this proposed ordinance and the resolution to add the noise.
Town attorney, is it possible to put something into Nixies from the community
Say again, Mayor.
to exclude them from putting them in the town?
I think that the special exception process is probably the better way of
Better way to do it?
regulating and administratively reviewing what has yet to be applied for,
Okay.
as opposed to an out-and-out ban. The legislature seems to have a view of them. And although cities are
You
not,
see the dollar signs behind them.
they have not preempted local government yet from legislating, and that's why this legislation would be a good place to start.
Okay.
I think your manager would support that as well.
All right.
And then you see the fees behind it. Those fees are pretty hefty. So I doubt if anybody want to pay those fees.
Oh, they got deep pockets.
Yes, like
Very. They're buying politicians off left and right for these things, so they got deep pockets.
Okay.
There's two parts to this. Is that resolution 2026-052? I didn't see it tied to it. Is that?
That would be helpful if you put that in the record too, Mr. Mayor, with your
Yeah.
with your
Can we
concurrence.
go ahead with that?
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. The resolution, which is the counterpart to the actual legislation, is proposed resolution number 2026-052, which is a resolution of the Town Commission of the Town of Pembroke Park, Florida, establishing a schedule of fees for data centers and artificial intelligence training facilities within the Town of Pembroke Park, Florida, pursuant to the Code of Ordinances of the Town of Pembroke Park, Florida, Section 28-212. Providing for severability, providing for conflicting resolutions, and providing for an effective date. That's 2026-052, which is part of the connected to the dots of the legislation as well. Thank you, Mayor and Commission.
Thank you. Can you include this for a line item, first reading on 610?
Yes, and also I recommend, with the attorney's permission, I recommend resolution 2026-052 to be heard at the second reading since we haven't, the
Only one reading.
ordinance hasn't really passed yet. So I suggest that we hear the resolution in August or September once we're voting.
Okay.
Okay?
I concur with my co-counsel. She's accurate.
She's on point today.
Doing well.
Thank you for your time.
thank you.
Unless I'm jumping ahead and you have something else.
Mayor, I'd just like to make a comment. The legislature currently, the mood there is somewhat favorable to allowing local governments to move in this sort of direction to protect themselves. They're recognizing that the tremendous water and power demands that these centers provide. I think it's probably, along with what Mr. Gorin was saying, is that I think an outright ban would kind of push them in the wrong direction. They don't like to see that from local government. It causes a reaction that generally is not favorable to local government. But I think that the course that's being suggested, this is a good place to start, and then we can go with the special exception. Look into the special exception route to make it as restrictive as possible without angering our friends in Tallahassee. That would be my comment.
Gotcha. All right, 8.1, ordinance's second reading. Consideration and adoption of ordinance number 2026-008, repealing ordinance number 2025-005 in its entirety, sponsored by Town Attorney Horwitz. Mr. Gore.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission, if you will. 8.1 is ordinance number 2026-008, which is an ordinance of the Town of Pembroke Park, Florida, repealing ordinance number 2025-005, adopted on September 10, 2025 in its entirety, directing the town clerk to take any and all action necessary to effectuate the repeal of the ordinance, including removing the referendum question from the November 3, 2026 general election ballot, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. That would be item 2026-008, which would be considered at the appropriate time. Thank you, Mayor and Commission.
Questions? Line item. Thank you. 9.1, new business. 9.1, consideration and approval of resolution establishing an employee training, professional development, workforce advancement, and Operational Accountability Program sponsored by Commissioner Mohammed and HR Director. Come up. Resolution number 2026-049.
May I read, Mayor?
Attorney?
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. Resolution number 2026-049 is a resolution of the Town Commission of the Town of Pembroke Park, Florida, establishing a comprehensive employee training, professional development, workforce advancement, operational accountability, and municipal service excellence program, providing for mandatory training requirements, civic education, professional communication standards, technology training, public works operational training, safety and OSHA training, that's OSHA, leadership development, cross-training, equipment certifications, performance accountability, human resources enforcement authority, operational flexibility, workforce readiness, self-directed professional development, internal workforce capability development, training tracking, competency assessments, performance improvement procedures, position qualification audits, supervisory accountability, and annual reporting, providing for an implementation, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. That would be proposed resolution 2026-049 for your consideration. Thank you, Mayor and Commission.
HR Director Bradley Frischman. This is pretty self-explanatory. This really gives me as HR a little bit more teeth to work with the directors actually to set up. There's a couple of departments we've already got set up pretty significant training schedules in there. So it allows me to work with the directors, get set up in their departments for the ones that don't have it already. And then it also allows me to be able to go in and hold people accountability for their training in the future as well. There are specific trainings that some commissioners would like to see us have. We do have our basic ones already, anti-bullying, sexual harassment, and as well as space in the other one. But I think others would like to see some Microsoft training in there as well. So.
Sure. Oh boy.
I think y'all have everything in there. I think I put everything, including the kitchen
Sure.
sink. I did. Why? Did y'all think I forgot something?
Nope.
Okay, then we're good. Right?
You could, yeah, it was very thorough.
All right. Line item. Yeah. Oh wait, this is just a resolution. We can put this on consent. Everyone all right with consent?
Yeah.
Consent.
Yes.
9.2, consideration and approval of NPDES interlocal agreement sponsored by Public Works Director Odoms. Mr. Odoms, resolution number 2026-050, Town Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. Resolution number 2026-050 is a resolution of the Town Commission of the Town of Pembroke Park, Florida, approving and authorizing the execution of the interlocal agreement among Broward County and participating municipalities for sharing resource burdens of the system-wide National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, that's referenced as NPDES, Municipal Separate Storm Sewer Service, that's MS4, permit attached thereto as Exhibit A, and authorizing Broward County to conduct technical activities required by the NPDES MS4 permit, providing for implementation, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and lastly, providing for an effective date, 2026-050 for your consideration. Thank you, Mayor and Commission.
Good evening again, Mayor and Commission. Jeff Odoms, Public Services Director. So this item comes before you for approval. This is the ILA agreement with Broward County. As you know, many of our city areas are, while they're in our town, are subject to Broward County maintenance and management protocols. This particular ILA is being developed for Broward County to be able to manage and maintain the stormwater infrastructure that is relative to their responsibility, i.e. Hallandale Beach Boulevard, Pembroke Road specifically. And on those roadways, you have infrastructure that drains the stormwater to the MS4 system. The MS4 system is the stormwater management system. And the state has imposed new total maximum daily limits for nutrient loading and bioloading and pollutant loading of nearby waterways. This ILA is allowing us to help foot the bill for the maintenance of those areas that are pertinent to our town that are their responsibility. For us, what it amounts to is about $1,700 because it's proportional to population. So it's about $1,700 for January to September this year. And then in October, it's $2,500 for the next fiscal year, which would be October 2026 to September 2027. So the agreement basically covers maintenance of those areas for their crews to come out, and it's our proportional share for that maintenance.
Questions? No? Consent? Thank you, Mr. Odoms. Nine point three, consideration and approval of highway lighting maintenance, fiscal year 2027 FDOT contract AMS 33, sponsored by Public Service Director Odom. Resolution number 2026-051. Town Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. Resolution proposed 2026-051 is a resolution of the Town Commission of the Town of Pembroke Park, Florida, approving the fiscal year 2027 task force order under the Florida Department of Transportation Highway Lighting Maintenance and Compensation Agreement. That's contract number ASM 33. Attached here to is Exhibit A, and authorizing execution of the agreement, providing for implementation, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. Resolution would be 2026-051 on the floor. Thank you, Mayor and Commission.
Mr. Odoms.
This particular agreement is a renewal of the agreement with FDOT for the maintenance of the lights that are on the FDOT roadways specifically. And those lights would be on Pembroke and Hollandale Beach Boulevard, where they pay us a maintenance fee per agreement to maintain those lights and keep those lights operable, and that's part of our operations plan. So this particular agreement is a renewal of that process.
Jeff, it's my understanding that we actually make out okay on that, right?
For the most part, yes.
Past few years.
For the most part, we do. We don't really perform in a deficit in that regard, if you mean where we have to come out of pocket to do a lot of the work. The monies that they provide, for the most part, covers the maintenance and the operation of those lights.
Excellent.
Was that the lights that were exposed to, or there was theft of the cables? Was that the same lights?
I believe they were. And in that particular case, again, we had to pay for that because if they're paying us to maintain it, that means that security issue happened on our watch. So we had to pay for the recovery of that process and getting them back online. And that's basically what the agreement affords us. Now, when everything goes well and we don't have any challenges, we usually end up breaking even or somewhat in the positive because we're getting paid to maintain the lights and keep the lights operable. But in those extreme cases that you just brought forward, we do have to cover that cost.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Consent. 9.4, consideration approval of contract renewal of Kimberly Horn, Calvin Thomas and Associates, Craig A. Smith and Associates, and Keith and Associates, sponsored by Mr. Odoms.
In this item, I'm gonna try my best to explain it the easiest way I can. Last year, there was an amendment to the current list of CCNA engineering firms that the town had contracted for services. And those contracts were 1-year amendment that was supposed to be up at the end of this month. During the year, during my tenure, we initiated a new RFP to expand the categories and skill sets of those CCNA engineering firms and initiate contracts with new firms that responded to the RFP. As of right now, this particular item addresses those that are on the previous and or current list of CCNA engineering firms that still have work pending and ongoing with the town. In discussions with the town manager, we have to extend again an additional year for now with those that have a current contract to continue the work that they've already begun. Some of these companies, of these 3 companies, may not get a new contract with the new RFP that was put out. So we have to amend this current contract to keep the current work going until those projects are completed. That's what this particular item is.
Yeah. Timeline on those projects?
I'm sorry, sir?
What's the timeline on some of the projects? I mean, are we talking about more than a year?
It could be more than a year. Absolutely. Absolutely. But the byproduct of that is if they're working under their current contract that would have to be amended till the project is complete, they do not receive additional or new work based on that contract. That contract is being amended to fulfill the work that's already initiated. If there's a new contract that comes, by way of them being a part of the new CCNA list, new work can be assigned to them under that contract. But right now, in this particular item, we're talking about existing contract and existing work.
Thank you.
Question.
Actually want to know one thing, like how you guys giving the projects each one of the farm, like how you like, who is giving this project? I know there's a some of architecture firm like is goes with by that, but should be treating them equally for them, like giving the projects, but how you will start working with them and what is your process?
So the new RFP, I can speak to more so because that's one I was more engaged and dealing with. But there's a ranking structure that was done during the evaluation process of those that responded to the RFP. And what that ranking structure did was rank them 1 to 5 under the different skill sets. So if a structural engineer, you may have 1 to 5 ranked, company A, company B, company C, so forth and so on. And under civil engineering, you may have it differently. Under electrical engineering, it may be different. We usually start with the first firm on each skill set, depending upon the project and what the project needs are. So if I need a structural engineer, I'm going to go to that list and how that list was structured, top down 1 to 5, and start at number 1 and work my way down to 5, depending upon how we work our deal out and how we work the scope of work out. Availability, time, all of those things get considered at that time.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
Mr. Odoms, are there sometimes exceptions to the rotation to where you pick a firm that specializes in a particular thing and match it up to the job that needs to be done?
Yes, we would start in the process that I just described, but there may be extenuating circumstances that allow you to have to move outside of that 1 to 5 ranking that I just mentioned. The town does retain the power to do that dependent upon the needs of the town.
There's just one thing I'd like to caution you about. Is a 2018 OIG report about us using the same contractors over and over again. It's been way past time for new companies in here. I understand the situation we're in, but I'm not a fan of it.
For the record, sir, understood. The previous and current list, I call it previous because we do have a new list that's getting ready to come out, if you will. There were about 9 to 10 firms on that list. This list now, we had well over 30 firms across various different disciplines, structural, civil, electrical, so forth and so on. So there's a much larger variety, offering us more opportunity to stay out of situations that you described.
Well, the mayor have a point there, and I'd like to emphasize that it's important that we circulate between the different companies so we don't have a cozy relationship that could indicate wrongdoing like corruption or similar things or favors. So, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Consent. 9.5, motion to award and recommend of the ITB number 2601 Town Hall Emergency Generator Installation, Florida Palm Construction Incorporated, the lowest responsive and reasonable bidder in the amount of $471,121.50, sponsored by Mr. Odoms.
Yes, sir. As you know, we have the emergency generator project that we've been working on and working to move forward for some time. We have ordered, as you may remember, We've ordered the actual generator, the permanent generator that's going to be here at Town Hall. And this item is for the construction aspect where they're going to actually facilitate building the new room onto this building and installing all of the electrical components so that once the generator arrives, they can actually install the generator as well. So that's what this reflects. This number reflects the lowest bidder for that bid package that we put out, for solicitation that we put out. And with your approval, we'll get them going as soon as possible.
You need this not to exceed or exact number.
I would put, if it meets your approval, I would make it an even 500 for any kind. Hopefully, if I run into any kind of contingency issues, there's some room on the purchase order that gives me an opportunity to facilitate that need.
Commissioner, all right with that?
That's fine.
I'm fine.
Throw this on consent.
500.
500,000. Not to exceed.
Not to exceed. Oh, we have an echo.
All right, 9.6, construction and approval of purchasing a mobile band stage sponsored by Public Service Director, Mr. Odoms.
Yeah, so if you recall, Commission, a few weeks, maybe a month or two back, there was a conversation about a potential, I know it says band stage here, but I'd like to call it a mobile amphitheater because I think it fits the bill of our conversation better to say it that way. And when we had the conversation, it was discussed that the city of Pompano had an item that we could look into potentially acquiring for use until we come up with a more permanent amphitheater solution for our park. And in doing that, we would be able to satisfy our grant obligation as well because we found out that that mobile unit does satisfy that. In doing that review and assessment, I found out that that unit is not going to be available. A couple of things. That unit's not going to be available as quickly as we thought it was because they're buying a new one, but until they receive the new one, they will continue using the existing. We also reached out to the manufacturer of that unit to get some information about purchasing one on our own. In your backup information, you should have some information about the cost, the potential cost of acquiring one on our own. The one thing that I would like to make you aware of is that she said that if we made an order with your permission as soon as possible, it probably wouldn't be available until March. They're that backed up right now. However, pricing-wise, we should be able to afford it. As you recall, there were some monies that I put aside for the park earlier in the year, about $400,000. So the money is available if you choose to move in this direction. Basically, at this point, I just need a direction from the commission as to how you want to proceed.
What was the timeline as far as the town, they were going to use their,
From what I understand, they're just making their order, so they would be almost like just ahead of us. So really, it's only going to be a couple of months difference if we're even able to acquire theirs, because there's some question about us not being able to do it city to city, because they have to go through their release process where you put things out for bid on the open market, and you know, so there's still some question whether we would be able to get theirs used at all anyway. So the question now was, if we have to wait that long and still don't really know, can we just buy our own? You know, how would the commission feel about just doing that?
Do you have any specifications on that unit?
Yes, there was some information. I thought we had it, and you back up it, but I'll try to go as best I can from memory. So the unit, it's like a trailerable unit. City of Lauderhill has one, by the way. If that helps with the reviewing it and deciding if this is what you want. And it's a collapsible unit driven by hydraulics. So it basically closes up into a trailer, being able to be pulled by a truck to the location you want it to work in. You disconnect it. You put down the stand or the legs, if you will, and then it stabilizers. Thank you. And then you basically operate it by hydraulics. It opens up into a full stage. And the one that I did provide has accessories, if you will. So you can get it with audio, electric. You can get it with like the full thing, so that when you set it up, the only thing you have to do is plug it in. The pricing for that is roughly between $160,000 and maybe $200,000.
That's
And the
one
one we were-
expensive stereo.
The one we tried to, from the Pompano Beach, it was like 50 something, right?
There was no price given.
Not yet.
No, because I never got that far into discussing a potential price. One, because if they did put it out, it would have to go out for bid, and you're not going to be able to know what the potential bid price is going to be. And then again, we may not even be able to bid on it, being a municipality. So I never really got a price for a used one.
Did you had a chance to look at, like, I know for Pompano, we know from David give us the information, but if around like you have any searching, like if anyone can trying to sell it or not?
No, ma'am. When I did talk to the manufacturer, I asked her about that and how hard is it to get potentially a used unit. She said it's very, very difficult, that she doesn't usually have them. It is also, if you will, a sole source opportunity, meaning the process for procuring this is a very short process. You don't have to do a bid and all of that because it's a sole source opportunity. They just did their sole source paperwork with Pompano Beach. So what that simply means is, with an approval, we can pretty much move forward, provided we get the sole source information to our procurement team, and it's just an approval process at that time and just basically ordering what we want.
Jeff, we had one in the park before. We rented it.
I heard that was a purchase, but it's not a full stage.
Big enough for the band.
That's yeah.
It was a rental truck that came in.
Yeah, I honestly haven't seen it set up to compare it. I can look into that for the between now and the next meeting and try to give you some feedback on it. But as far as I know, it's not.
What that cost of that was and where we got it from and all that.
Okay, we can do that.
Do we have any expected use? How many times are we going to use it? Is it cost effective comparing to hiring or renting one?
Well, I think it cost effectiveness is going to be a question, but I will add to the conversation this: by accepting the grant fundings from the FERDAP grant that was allowing us to have the amphitheater and the splash pad and all of those things in our park, we still have to meet the requirements of that grant. Renting, even if it is more cost effective, is not going to allow us to reach to meet the compliance aspect of that grant. So we still going to need to have something, to do that. So, doing this kind of covers two things, and being mobile when and if we decide to do something more permanent in the park here across the street, you have the ability to move it up to Behan. You have the ability to move it around, so you can do different events in different locations with it, and you can expand your event calendar, so to speak, with different things when you have a mobile stage in this.
Thank
I'd
you.
like to point out an interesting fact. 2 years ago, our neighboring city of West Park decided to put in an amphitheater over in McTier. They poured their foundation this week. And here we're still circling around. Okay. Nothing's been done. Can you bring a couple proposals together for the next meeting? We'll make it a line item.
10-4, will do.
Let's see here. Since you're up there, we might as well. I was just looking at that. Consideration and approval of the CCNA architectural agreement sponsored by Public Service Director Odoms and Procurement Administrator Woolbury. Resolution number 2026-056. Mr. Odoms.
May I read, Mayor? Mayor? May I read?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Sorry, Town Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. Number 910 is a proposed resolution number 2026-056, which is a resolution of the Town Commission of the Town of Pembroke Park, Florida, approving continuing services contracts with CPH Consulting, CPZ Architects, George Guitarras Architects, and West Construction and Design pursuant to request for qualifications number 25-02. Attached hereto is Exhibit A through D, authorizing the execution of the agreements and directing the appropriate town officials to take any and all action necessary to effectuate the intent of this resolution, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, providing for an effective date, 2026-056, on the floor for consideration and presentation. Thanks, Mayor and Commission.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Go ahead, Mr. Owen.
So as I said earlier, we talked a little bit about the the new CCNA list that we were discussing in the previous item. This item is reflective of the discipline of architecture, which was a discipline we did not have on that previous and existing CCNA list. So this is the approval of the new contracts for the new discipline of the new CCNA list that's coming forward. This is the first grouping of contracts to be approved of by the commission. The discipline of architecture, we had 3, right? 3 total? 4. Four, I'll say teams for the sake of discussion, that are ranked, and now we have architecture as a skill set that we have in CCNA that we can look to for different things. And just as a point of discussion, part of that conversation, which may come up later, is the building and all of that. Having architecture now gives us someone in our CCNA pool to go to help develop those plans for the different architectural discussions that we have coming up.
Did you have anything you wanted to add?
He said everything.
All right. Any questions?
Nope.
Consent.
Was that, Mayor, was that consent?
Consent, yes. 9.7, consideration and approval agreement sponsored by Vice Mayor Kashim, resolution number 2026-054. Town Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. 9.7 is resolution number 2026-054. It is a resolution of the Town Commission of the Town of Pembroke Park, Florida, approving and authorizing the execution of the agreement between the Town of Pembroke Park, Florida, and Universal Medical Institute, INC, doing business as UMC Free Clinic, attached hereto is Exhibit A, for free clinic medical services pursuant to Section 2-125 of the town's Code of Ordinances, authorizing the town manager to make certain non-substantial changes to the agreement, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date 2026-054 on the floor for your review and consideration. Thank you, Mayor and Commission.
Vice Mayor.
Now, last week we did they came and visit our town hall and the park. Like they decided where we're gonna park the mobile clinic. So we decided. I spoke to the Adams. Adam give us the we can park in our park. They are coming once a month. If needed in future, we see how many patients we're getting, so they will try to give more services, like twice a month also, like at least at the beginning we can see how far it goes. And with all of the legal advice, we did have attorney was present that meeting, and I think that's it. We did have great things, and we are waiting. I think September 12th, we decided the first they will be come to visiting us. So I will be for our all flyers like it goes. So I need you to put that information so then residents will know like we are trying to giving that services in future. Town manager, if you want to add something.
Not much, just that, we had, of course, a very good meeting with the clinic, the representatives of the clinic. I think our obligations under this agreement, once a month they would come to the town. We would do some publicity to try to let people know that they would have this available to them, where they could get some basic medical and diagnostic services, health checkup kind of stuff, and that we would provide them with maybe a couple of staff people to help them set up the chairs, and so the people that are waiting to be seen can be comfortable, and maybe some tables or whatnot, and make sure that we have, wherever we put them, that there is some sort of bathroom facility available to them, and maybe on days when they are going to see people who maybe have mental health issues, that I've talked to the chief about the possibility of having an officer on standby or being nearby, just for security purposes. But that, to the extent we are not having to pay anything, other than to provide those limited, sort of helping resources to them.
They was trying to settle this.
So,
Consent. 9.8, consideration and approval resolution adopting the proposed millage rate fiscal year 2026-27 and setting the dates and times for the tentative budget hearings for the final budget hearing pursuant to FS 200.065. It is suggested the tentative budget hearing be held on September 9th, 2026 at 6 p.m. and the final budget hearing on September 23rd, 2026 at 6 p.m. Sponsored by Interim Town Manager Segerson, resolution number 2026-053. Town Attorney.
Yes, Mayor and Commission, this item with some blanks is a resolution number 2026-053, which is a resolution of the town of Pembroke Park, Florida, adopting a proposed operating millage rate of blank mills, which will need to be inserted at some future moment, not too far in the distance, for the fiscal year 2026-2027, commencing on October 1, 2026 through September 30, 2027, setting a date and time for the first public hearing to consider the tentative millage rate in the tentative budget, and a date and time for the final public hearing to adopt the final millage rate and budget, providing for the directions to the town manager and providing for an effective date. Item is on the floor for your consideration under state law and under your city charter, town charter. 9.8. Thank you, Mayor.
Town Manager.
yes, thank you, Mayor. Okay, excuse me. We determined, working with SET, we determined that we'd need to transfer some money from the general fund into these certain budget lines to pay for the various audit firms that we've hired, and also the lump sum payment to David Lynch was something new. And we have the ARPA audit people, that's 16,000. We have the internal auditors, that's 36. That's just phase one. One of the things that I may need to individually discuss with the Forvis Mazer people and the Eisner folks is going forward after phase one, what would their phase two be, and how would that sort of work with the Eisner folks? We don't want to overlap, so we need to review what they want to do in phase two with the Eisner folks who are going to provide the financial services for the finance department. Anyway, I'm getting a little off track. So we needed to transfer some money to sort of cover those budget amounts. Mostly the Eisner Amper, it's in the backup. Most of their costs between now and the end of the year, we figure can be covered by the budget rate that we save from the finance director's remaining salary and benefits. So we're not really having to fund them particularly.
I think we jumped ahead a little bit. We're just discussing the millage rate.
Oh, are we talking about the millage rate? I thought we were talking about the next one.
Okay, we'll come back to you in a minute.
Okay. Oh, and the millage rate, it's at, that's pretty.
8.5.
That's pretty self-explanatory. We're on September 1st, we're going to get the preliminary roll. The Eisner people are aware of that. They have the methodology to figure out. We have to figure out what if any increase in property values would warrant either a decrease or an increase in the millage rate, and then calculate the rollback rate from that rate. And generally speaking, municipalities try to stay under 10, no more than 10% above what the rollback rate is, because it kicks in some additional requirements for
Voting requirements.
which is what, unanimous vote?
Could be.
Yeah. So generally, it's been my experience, and I'm sure Sam's as well, is that cities generally try to stay under that 10%, which triggers a need for a unanimous vote.
Stayed at 8.5 for the last 7 years.
Yeah.
It was longer than that.
I don't know prior to. For sure it says longer than that.
Right.
So.
Well, and the thing about that is that you can always lower it if you decide in September when you're doing the final millage rate, you can always go lower. You just can't go higher. So we would err on the side of being high so that, you know, we can't raise it.
Got it.
So that's kind of the,
So I just want to clarify, the commission does agree that September 9th is the first budget hearing and September 23 will be the second budget hearing.
Yes, 6 p.m. on both.
Okay. And the millage rate will be determined.
Determined at that time, to be announced. 9.9, consideration and approval of budget amendment sponsored by interim town manager Segerson, resolution number 2026-055, town attorney.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. 9.9 is resolution number 2026-055, which is a resolution of the Town Commission of the Town of Pembroke Park, Florida, amending the fiscal year 2025-2026 town budget adopted on December 1, 2025, pursuant to resolution number 2025-078, as amended, providing for an amended budget for fiscal year 2025-2026 for the town, attached here to as Exhibit A, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, and providing for an effective date. That'll be 2026-055 for your consideration and review on the floor. Thank you, Mayor and Commission.
Town manager, you just need to move money to pay the bills.
we just need to move money to pay the bills.
Okay. Consent.
What's 9.8, that's a line item, isn't it?
9.8 is, no, that's just the resolution for the setting of the dates.
So is that consent also?
Yeah, that's consent also. The mills will be to be announced.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, just to, if may inquire quickly, for the,
Need to be aligned?
well, you're going to set the tentative millage rate on the 10th of June at your meeting, is that correct?
Yes.
That's- Okay, that's critically a time-certain event.
Yes.
Let's make that a line item.
Yeah.
Make a line item.
You don't get a second chance to make a first impression with that.
All right. we did that one. All right, 9.11, consideration and approval for the update of organizational charts for all town hall departments sponsored by interim town manager Segerson.
Okay, in your backup, you have a smaller version of this. Now, do we have a slide on this?
Here, I could hold it up. You guys can read it in the back.
I can try, but it's gonna be really small.
Yeah, the HR director, Brad, and Brad Frischman, and Christine, with assistance from Christine, put together this new updated version. It's, in the past, the commission has approved the org chart, so we put it on this workshop agenda so that you could approve it officially at the June 10th meeting.
Anyone have any questions on the org chart?
Nope.
We just passed the stuff, the ordinance that moved HR outside of the manager, and now we're putting it back under the manager.
That's what it looks like.
Did we miss
Has
something?
anybody looked at the ordinances that we have to kind of,
I have not.
can y'all make sure that it reflects that before we see it
Did
again?
You want to speak? Okay. You want to come up?
Do you want this as a line item then?
Hold on one moment.
Good evening, HR Director Bradley Frischman. There it is. Sorry about that. Director Bradley Frischman. So this is more of the dissemination of information. It really doesn't actually, who is in charge of hiring and firing. It's more of just the dissemination of information up and down the ladder. If you want me to separate it off like you're talking about in the island and everything, I can do that. But this is more of just an information base.
So this is
That's
not
the
a, you
commission.
guys report to the manager and the manager reports to us?
No,
This
ma'am.
is-
No.
I mean, and it was brought to my attention by the chief right before this that it does look like it's a very manager-heavy form of government, but rest assured, we are commission form. The directors do report to you, but this is just the expectation of information.
You can ask the question now.
You're looking at me. Don't look at me.
Well, I think what Bradley is suggesting is that he can produce another org chart that shows each commissioner and what departments they are the over. No, this is not an attempt to change the form of government.
Not at all.
It's just that in the ordinance that was passed,
Well, they need to.
you all did give me the authority to direct staff to do things. You retain the power. The majority of this commission in any given meeting can direct staff to do whatever a majority of you wish them to do. That continues to exist by ordinance. So nothing has changed.
I think that needs to be clarified on this because as it stands right now, I think that needs to be clarified on this because if this is just a organizational chart for the distribution of information, then it needs to state that because if this is an organizational chart that's being adopted by the city, then it looks like all of those department heads that report to the commission are now under the manager and we have a management form of government. So I think that either some footnotes, some titles, something, but just to have a blanket organizational chart that is in violation of policies that we have in place and recent policies that we've just recently adopted need to be clarified.
Correct. And
We can do that.
Anything superseding the previous stuff.
Yeah, the previous one that was actually approved has the town manager, and then there's administrative directors under it. It just had positions that aren't being utilized currently, aren't budgeted for, or weren't even actually.
Yeah, that wasn't done.
Yeah.
With us.
It was 2020, so.
Yeah.
No,
Well, we need a revised one
like to
first.
read-
Have a revised, so make it a line item.
Okay.
Well, will y'all have it ready for next week?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Commissioner Hodgkins, did you have a question?
Yeah, it's kind of, I think it's laid out here. So you have the chief of police is actually under the town manager?
Correct. It's just the dissemination of information, but we'll fix that on and have it ready for the next one.
What else needs to be fixed?
It's going to go commissioner straight down to the town, not to the town manager, but the town manager, and everybody's going to be on the same line along with the directors, and then you'll have HR in its own little corner as y'all had requested in that previous.
So this is, we'll wait till.
It was just, yes, sir. Yep. Thank you.
All right. 912, consideration and approval of Ford vehicles maintenance plan, quote, sponsored by Chief DeCoursey.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Dan DeCoursey, the Police Department. This is in reference to a maintenance program for the 5 new Explorers that we have coming in. The cost is $3,110 per unit. It's a 5-year, 100,000-mile maintenance plan that covers everything but tires. And breaking away from the enterprise leasing and so on, we felt this is the best route. We can go to any Ford dealership in the country and have the work done if we have a problem.
Sounds good. Questions? Nope.
Thank you.
Consent. Thank you. 913, approval of the minutes. Anyone have questions?
Nope. You need a motion?
Nope. Consent. All right, discussion. 10.1, discussion building code enforcement actions 3120, sponsored by myself. I think I had it listed in the backup, but I wanted to bring up, this is my residence. You guys keep bringing up the violations on my house that were frivolously put on my house, and the construction that was done on my house. There was no construction. There was a repair done on the siding. I was violated frivolously by the building official. It has since been cleared by the town of Pembroke Park. It does say my house was inspected. I can confirm my house was never inspected from the inside. It was only inspected from the outside, but there are no pending actions on my home that you guys keep bringing back up. Just want to point out another interesting fact. 3 years and 2 months, you guys keep accusing me of all kinds of stuff, and they keep getting dismissed, thrown away. Doesn't happen. You guys are at $500,000 now. General quarters, all hands, man your battle station. Yeah. There's that too.
Sorry, work call. Anyways, you guys have been successful in anything you've been trying to do to remove me from office for the last 3 years and 2 months, and it still continues. You guys are still wasting taxpayer funds. You continue to run your mouths on things that are wrong, that were done wrong, and it just continues. I will make sure I get an emailed copy of the clearance of everything on my home sent to each and every one of you, so you know that there are no longer any violations on my home. But it wasn't inspected. It was just dismissed on behalf of the normal, or I think the building official, town manager, I don't know, I don't remember. But that was dismissed like several months ago. So we continue with the nonsense here in Pembroke Park, wasting tax dollars and time. 10.2, discussion on the building department EOC construction on the 3rd floor. This is sponsored by me. In the back up there is all the information for building out the 3rd floor with the building department and the EOC funds. We have approximately $1.7 million into the building department funds. If they aren't, allocated before July 1st, you guys are gonna have to give back $1.4 million. That's where we're at with the state. Now, luckily, what saved us is a couple people were really smart and remembered back before this administration came on. Under my last term as mayor, we'd put everything before this commission and voted on it to use the resources, use the money. The money was to help with the air conditioning systems. It was used to help with the elevators. It was used to offset all the costs, build the emergency management, or the EOC on the 3rd floor, with the moving the building department to the 3rd floor, so we could actually utilize those funds that we have sitting in the department. Thing is, we were smart enough to put that forward. The only thing pending is we must approve the work order that's still sitting there on the 10th agenda. If it's not approved and those funds aren't allocated by July 1st and we don't go forward with that project, we have to give back all that money. So either we go forward with the plans to build out the EOC on the 3rd floor and move the building department to the 3rd floor as previously put together, or we lose the building department funds.
What do you plan for 1st floor then, the old department?
The old department was going to be handed over to the police department. So the police department had an administrative side and an operations side. So we'll have to change some things around on that side to bring it up to standards for the public safety department or for the police department. That was the intent.
Yeah, the building department is a very busy place, so it's well positioned as it is right now. But if we can, in this money, is there money enough to update the elevators system to bring all these?
Partial. It can't cover the full amount.
How are we going to get customers up to 3rd floor then?
Because the general fund has to cover the other half of it. It doesn't cover the full amount of the elevators. It doesn't cover the full amount of everything. It covers partial amount of it. I don't have the numbers.
Could that be a security concern? If we're letting public people go?
Got a security guard out front now.
Yeah, but you're leaving people unassisted up to 3rd floor.
Mayor, perhaps we could have the building department comment on some of the questions that have been raised.
Great.
Yeah, I'd like to hear what Louis has to say.
And I believe that a review of the excess funds has determined that we don't have quite as much as we thought we did. There is still an excess, and it's still significant. It's probably more like around $500,000 or $600,000. But I will let Jeffrey comment on some of the issues that you've been raising, Commissioner.
Right, as the town manager has been mentioning, we've been diving into the actual reserves and finding out exactly what the total amount number is and what can actually be utilized towards construction compared to what our overall operational expense has been. So correct. Well, as we're diving through, it's closer to 500 to 600,000 that can actually be allocated for the third floor. However, for the elevator, that would be a separate project. It would not be able to be covered for that, and we would have to scale back the entire third floor to just one section of the third floor.
Louis, do you think that practically this can function, that we are bringing the clientele up to third floor safely? Would that be a smooth way? Because it's kind of like perfect right now for you guys.
Right. The majority of the traffic does come through the building department. So on the first floor, it's easier to enter. However, what we can do is once we have the elevator in place, it could be shut down to where it can only go to the third floor from the first floor. So as everybody is checked downstairs, they can go to the third floor, go through our lobby. The windows are already there. We can service them there. And the only access point back would be utilizing the elevator to go back downstairs to the first floor, or the staircases, which would go actually outside of the building itself.
The side note of that, the elevator's already wired and programmed for that feature.
And therefore, if anyone needs to use it as a cargo to the second floor, they have a key card and they can actually switch it. That's the idea behind it.
Do you think it's going to work?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
So how do we move ahead with this?
That sounds
Well,
like
before you move ahead with this, I think that one of the things that I talked to the mayor about before the meeting is that there is a competing proposal for the use of that money in 10.7 that perhaps would, I don't know, how structurally, Sam, how do we sort of discuss these things in tandem as they are competing for the same dollars?
I would, if I may respond, Mr. Mayor, the best answer I would suggest is to not bifurcate per se, but join the two for some level of exchange together on the dais, unless you feel the need to separate them and then join them at some later time in the conversation. If they're in conflict with each other, or they're not compatible with each other, or not harmonious with each other, you need to find a way to get them harmonious so you can make a decision about allocating funds.
The catch here sure is if it's not done by the 10th, all the money has to go back. So
no, it has to be obligated.
It has to be allocated
Obligated, yeah.
by
July 1st.
July 1st.
Yeah, which is as soon as the architect's contract is signed next week
But our last vote meeting is on.
of June, and it has to be done by June 30th, right?
Yeah.
Which is just literally as soon as the contract is signed, it's to get the architect on board and obligate it to the architect. So, okay, so let me just do a quick intro. We kind of had this discussion a little bit at the last meeting about whether or not it was possible to take the building department excess fund to use it to help with the design for the community center and moving the building department over to the community center. I have a PowerPoint, but it's kind of grainy. Here. With what my thought process was on this of our community center, because we do have, hopefully my fingers are crossed that we do have that money from Tallahassee. If the governor doesn't veto it, but because the design, you have the it's gonna be grainy, I think. I mean,
How did you make this so blurry?
It's clear? Oh, okay.
My eyes are bad, or is that blurry?
Cause it's AI.
It's all blurry. What is that?
Yeah, it is blurry because the way it did it,
I mean, you could still read a little bit.
yeah.
Computers.
A little bit. Yeah.
Cause it came out as pictures and then trying to convert the pictures into a PowerPoint, it's grainy. I'm not that tech savvy like some people.
Well, tell you the truth, rather than see the disruption of moving a successful department up to the third floor and have all the traffic going up to the third floor, I would rather see money invested in something like this than seeing the whole
We would have
department moved
to-
upstairs.
We would have to investigate into that as well to find out what portion of the funds is actually suitable for that, and if there's no issues with utilizing those funds for that.
Yeah. So
So, but we
there's
would
a-
have to wait till the architect comes into play as
Yeah.
well.
we had already directed staff to look into it, and it could be obligated for the design phase. So this was kind of like my idea, but this is for us to kind of have like a kind of hash it out on what you see. I was thinking about the community center, and I was kind of running through scenarios of how much of the money could be utilized for the design, what all components would be considered part of the building department, including the classrooms, which could be utilized as both trainings for the building department and also being utilized for us after hours for whatever classes we'd like to have in the community center as well. And that funding source would still be coming from them to cover it because it's a multi-use, they would be multi-use classrooms. Also with your emergency operations center, can you see the pictures for the, let me see if I can find it. The community, the operations center, so that the emergency operations center, it's on page 20, it's on page 21. You see where it says floor 3, govern and respond? Keep going. One more. I think 1, 2. Yeah. Okay. So you have your EOC center, operations center, which would be utilized by all of the staff whenever we have to activate for hurricanes. It's big enough to have both the building department and the police department over there operating to do joint relief efforts whenever we have a hurricane, because of the fact that everybody kind of has to be deployed when we have these storms. And so this would give us a big enough facility to be able to do all of that. Also it would have sleeping quarters for the building department, because when we do have some of those storms, we do have our staff here like 24 hours running, especially when it's a really bad storm and you guys are stuck here having to red tag things. And don't give me that look, Jeffrey. Odoms, don't turn your head.
Thanks.
It includes, quarters for everybody, but it's something that would be able to, be utilized by that funding source to make sure that you have everything that you need for them to operate effectively during a storm, and big enough footprint and privacy-wise as well, with showers and everything else. So that way it's not like a major renovation to the 3rd floor, because then you're going to have to displace the police staff that's already up there and the servers and all the other IT stuff that's up there. So what do you want to ask, Jeffrey?
Well, there would be 2 components to this. There's the design phase and how much is the funding for that, and then you have the actual construction phase for this, which would have
Yes, and there's revenue sources in there as well.
source.
There's revenue sources. There, go back a couple slides. Trust me.
So basically, we're looking to see whether it's legal for us to use the funds for it.
We would have to look into that.
I think we need to do that first before we go crazy here.
You're running out of time. You have 15 days.
And that's
Yeah.
the
Well,
major
have a
issue
special.
as well, is to
And
find
I
out
think-
how much it's going to be, and then how much is
Design
going to have
phase,
to
yeah.
be
First cost,
allocated
at least then
in the
it's
time frame
money.
before July 1st.
Trust me.
This is a lot of balls we have in the air here. This is like a new project. We're competing for the same money for the new project that we don't know if we even have finance for. Contrary to the mayor's suggestion to get this thing moved, that it has already been voted for by another commission. I think we need to focus. We still need a dream about the new community center. That would be wonderful, but we need to fix these things first in a timely manner. And I love the idea with the community center, but this is very early days for that, and we have some other stuff we need to finish.
Very true, and the other aspect of that too is that the plans drawn for the 3rd floor was back in 2023. Those would have to be revised to today's standards as well. So there's a lot of moving components to both suggestions.
Need to
Commissioner,
allocate the money.
yeah, I would just point out that the entire cost of the design of the community center could not be paid out of building, at the very least. We will research further whether or not this is a viable use, but on the surface, the portion of the building that is attributable to the building department, that the cost of that to put it as a simple example, if it's a 3-story building and it costs $300,000 to design, a third of that could be allocated from funds from the excess building department funds, but you couldn't use all of the building department funds, or you couldn't pay for the entire design out of building department funds.
Correct.
We believe. We have not looked into it
Yeah, you can.
thoroughly.
You can.
You can.
But
Yeah.
that's why we have the 500,000
Right.
that Gordon
But,
just got that we're.
but
hoping
as, yeah, right, as Commissioner, Mohammed is.
Yeah, you got to kind of figure out what the percentage is going to be
Yes,
of use.
correct.
Yeah.
Once you figure out percentage of use, and then you can figure out the percentage of the money, and then you're home free.
So this is a major kind of decision for you all to make. I think the mayor's point is well taken, and that is that something has to be done by July 1st. Because after that, the new state law that passed during the regular session, I believe, cuts off that option from using excess building department funds. That would no longer be an option after July 1st. So my suggestion is that you think about what you want to do, move both items forward to be discussed at the June 10th meeting. And in the meantime, staff, we will do our best to try to figure out what can be done within the time frame so that we don't lose those funds or lose the opportunity to use those funds. I mean, either one of these projects would be beneficial to the town.
Let me
but-
ask a question, David.
Yeah.
Let me ask a question.
Yeah, sure.
Can those funds be used, like, say, we're putting in a new air conditioning system for the building? Can a percentage of that funds be used for that?
No.
Only if it's building department, right?
It's part of it, yeah.
No.
A percentage of it.
No, I don't believe so.
So we can't divide it up that way.
I don't believe you could do that. First of all, it would be sort of difficult to allocate those funds, and it would, I mean, we can look into that. We can certainly look into,
If it's a feasible thing, that's all.
yeah, we can look into that.
I was gonna, yeah.
Can I answer that?
Go ahead, Jeff. What's up?
Go ahead, Jeff.
That would, yeah, that would, in order to allocate that specifically for the building department, a whole separate system would have to be allocated and dedicated directly to the building department and that floor for that. So at this current time, it wouldn't be feasible.
You're not answering the question. Commissioner Hodgkins, I investigated that about 5 months ago via the town attorney. We looked at that option for the AC
okay.
and for the elevators and everything at that time, and he told me specifically we could not do it.
Okay, thank you.
That too.
That too.
It's all about money and time.
How do you want to put this on the?
Excuse me. Well, I just recommend that they both be line items, that you all, we'll try to provide more information about the feasibility of doing one or the other. You do one or the other or neither. But, if you don't do one or the other, then I don't know that we can, the only other things that you can spend that money, that excess money on, other than giving it back as a pro rata share to permittees, would be either training and increased technology in furtherance of the building code enforcement, or training. Those are the only two things that would be left, other than a refund,
How
essentially.
about a fire suppression system in the whole building?
No, sorry.
No.
But what you
For the building department.
Good try.
So what you could do is get a software like Naples has, where it makes the permitting process easier for the residents. That well, I forgot what college it was. Like, what's the college in Tampa? USF. USF.
University of
Yeah.
South Florida.
Some people did, where they basically had a system built to basically make the permitting process a lot easier and automated, where it actually runs through the if you come in for like a AC repair, you come in with your little paperwork, it runs it through the system, it kicks back, errors on lines 2, 4, and 6, and then it gives you your printout, and it kind of automates the system, and so that the only thing that you're having is is the human sign off at the end, but at least everybody's kind of aware of what the process is, where they are, and they can't complain about, oh, we didn't know this, we didn't know that, because everybody's kind of, everything is treated the same. It takes your ordinances, runs and automates everything and makes the process a lot easier.
How about we put a catch-all agenda item together for this and put some solutions on there, and we'll have to vote on it at the meeting.
But that would be the technology option that I would recommend if we can't get A or B done.
Town clerk, good luck.
Sir,
Work with the town manager, put an item together that includes
does that include
All the
10.7, 10.72?
yes,
10, your architect and
10.7, 10,
and 10.
10.2, 10.7.
10.2, 10.7, and technology from Commissioner Mohammed. And we'll make her research it and put it forward.
I know where they can spend my technology.
Talking about you.
I already got those emails.
Okay, she's got the email. She'll give it to you, Jeffrey.
All right.
If you can work with the manager and put something together.
Okay.
Yeah, let's rock and roll.
Public
All good
records
on that?
request to all the cities for
I
that.
think
It's
I
just
think
sitting in
it's a
the.
start. All right.
10.3, we had this discussion about 3 years ago. We paid for a study of approximately $80,000 to have the discussion on the fire fee to go along with the millage rate. What this does is by having a fire fee in town, it takes it out of our ad valorem tax. We're one of the few municipalities where we have it combined. The fire fee is combined with the millage rate, which makes our millage rate the top 3 in Broward County out of 32 municipalities, or wait, 32, right? 31.
Getting down to
31
30.
municipalities, there's only 3 that are at the same rate we're at. 2 are 8.5, and 1 is above us. So the thing is in South Florida, every business owner is used to paying an independent fire fee separate from the millage rate. Here in Pembroke Park, it's always been combined as one. Historically, that is because certain businesses don't pay their fair share while others pay more than the others. The 8 single-family homes, which would be yours, your taxes will come down as it makes it fair across the board, across the city when it comes to the fire fee. The fire fee will be spread out across all the businesses and residents in Pembroke Park, separate from the millage rate, which, again, this whole study's put together, the whole study was there. It's attached as backup. This goes along with the setting of the millage rate. If we can get is it Ibner Esner that's doing the millage rate? Is it Ibner Esner that's doing the millage rate?
Yes. Yes, Mayor. I have some comments if,
Yeah, but this brings our millage rate down to a normal amount where businesses look and see a millage rate of around 4, 5, 6. That's normal. 8.5 is not normal. That's extremely high for our ad valorem tax rate. They're
long
used
as
to seeing a fire fee.
It lowers it
As long as it's
then,
not a new tax, but
It's not
it
a new tax.
offsets.
See, the fire fee is a pass-through. It's a pass-through tax. Whatever we pay is what is divided up among the entire community, and it's paid across the board, fair for everyone. No one gets higher, no one gets less. But what it does is it brings down our ad valorem tax rate. So when you're trying to bring new businesses into the town, like we're trying to do, having that lower tax rate helps bring new businesses in. They're used to seeing that. They're not used to seeing these two combined in the same. So this is a win-win in 2 ways. One, it fixes the fire fee across the board so everyone's paying their fair share on the fire fee, and it brings our millage rate to a normal millage rate instead of being in the top 3 in Broward County.
I have no objections to it as long as it's not raising general taxes. I'm fine with it.
I am not for raising taxes by any means ever, whichever shape or form. This is actually reducing what our ad valorem tax is by pulling the fire fee out.
well, you're just taking
It's
this,
the same. You're
you're
just
robbing
moving it
Peter
from
to pay Paul, yeah.
one hand to the other.
right.
But what it does is it makes the town look better on bringing in new business.
Who's
I
gonna-
have no objections.
Who's going to collect the fire fee?
The town does.
Exactly.
So
So that's more,
same as the millage rate.
it would be more work for the town because we got to set up a different person or system is going to take care of that.
Excuse me, Commissioner, it would be part of the tax bill that anybody paying,
Yeah, but it creates more work for somebody. I'm sure it does. I mean, you're creating a new thing, so it's going to be
well, it's a new revenue, it's a different revenue stream.
billing thing, a new revenue stream, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So somebody's going to have to be doing it in finance or somewhere.
Well, our accounts receivable clerk does that sort of thing. I would like to add a comment, Mayor, if you.
Go ahead.
In view of what the legislature is about to do, I don't know if everybody has seen it yet. The governor has called a special legislative session for next week, June 1st through 3rd, to deal with property tax reform. And the proposals that we're seeing, everybody agrees that the homestead exemption will be raised to, the governor's proposal would raise the homestead exemption to $250,000. This would not have a huge impact on Pembroke Park. However, one of the other proposals that is being floated by the governor or proposed by the governor, as I understand it from my contacts and our lobby team members, is that the governor would also ask the legislature to curtail or limit the annual increase that's allowable for non-homestead properties. In other words, commercial and industrial properties, instead of being capped at 10% per year, would be capped at 5% per year. This is something that in the long run would have a long-term impact on the town of Pembroke Park, since we are 90 some odd percent, probably 95% or more, dependent on non-homestead exemption property taxes, commercial and industrial. So if the commission should decide to go this route and we're able to significantly lower your millage rate, that would give you a lot more cushion if later on, if there are revenue shortfalls and there's an emergency that you need to raise more ad valorem revenue, you would have more breathing room going down the road, assuming that the legislature does what the governor is asking them to do. Those things have to go on the ballot in November, I would add, and so they would not immediately affect anybody, but they would have to be approved in November by the voters, 60% of the vote, and then they would affect the 2027 voter rolls or property rolls.
Right now, we can only go up at 15.
Right, there's a 10 mil cap in the state of Florida.
That puts us at 10.
So that would be a one reason, I would think that would be a reason to consider doing this, so that you would give yourselves some breathing room, some more breathing room. Right now, you have very little upside that you can do with your millage rate.
Is Ibner Esner doing the millage rate?
Yes.
That's the company doing
Yes.
the millage rate?
Yep.
Can we tie this into that with them?
Yes, I will talk to them about that.
You guys okay with that? Have them put it together and bring forward something
Bring
at
it
the
forward
next
to us.
meeting?
Yeah, let's see what they come up with.
Sounds good.
Girls,
Yes.
So line on it?
for sure? She says no. I'll have it bring forward as a line item. For discussion.
Mayor, just if I can very quickly.
Yeah.
To just add to the mix. If you do have an intent to proceed with a fire assessment fee, it is a special assessment. It does appear on the tax bill. It is not a tax. It only affects real estate. It has to be reasonably apportioned, and you have to have a study to get to the answer. You can't just conjure up the answer while sitting on the dais. It does require an independent review of that matter. There are firms, consultants that do this as a routine basis in what they do professionally. The second part of which is that there's a notice of intent resolution that's adopted by the commission. It tells the property appraiser, tax collector that you're about to, for the next fiscal year, pursue the special assessment for fire. Does not include rescue. It's fire only. There was litigation some number of years ago in the state of Florida where fire was legally allowed under the statute, but rescue was not, because it did not protect property.
I know the chief left, but I think it was around $2 million of what we pay.
Sure. The end result of which is that then must be, if you do intend to use the process by state statute, you have to notify every potential assessed property a first-class notice of what's coming with regard to that situation. It is doable, it's legally supportable, and if the commission were to make a decision to take that direction, you have the legal basis to do that. It's not a tax, but it is on the tax bill.
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
thank you. For budget item amendment authority, town manager Sigerson during the 2026 summer recess.
Mayor, as the,
Move money around.
yes, we may need to. I don't know, if we can just do budget transfers within departments, we will do that during the summer. There are a number of, and that's what the Eisner Amper people are gonna help walk us through, is where are the holes, where do we need to plug them? When the budget was prepared last year, there were a number of lines that were simply not funded. There are various reasons why that appears on the spreadsheet that I asked for from finance. Not all of it is that there was, not money budgeted. Sometimes, or in some instances, funding was paid for out of one line when it should have come out of another. We're going to get to the bottom of those things. There were just errors. But we have to consider that there may come a point where when we're trying to figure out how we get to the finish line, how we get to September 30th, that we may have to move money that would otherwise require a budget amendment. I'm asking for the authority with guardrails to be able to do that, to approve it. But I would only do so, and I talked to the attorney about preparing a resolution that would provide those guardrails, and those would be primarily that I would not approve of any budget amendment that was not recommended by our financial services firm, so that you would know that a professional had reviewed it and recommended it, and then I would just simply be in the position to say yay or nay. And then the other one would obviously be everything that I would do in that regard would come back to you in August or September for a ratification and your review and ratification. Or the alternative to that, and it doesn't matter to me, I'm happy to do, special meetings in the summer, but I don't think that the commission really wants to do that, and there's really no reason to do that, to interrupt, your time off.
I think a well-prepared resolution by your attorney would be fine. You guys okay with that?
I'm fine.
Sure.
Thank you.
Line item? Anything else on that? No?
No, sir.
All right. 10.5, discussion possible action regarding attorney fees. David Lynch, sponsored by Commissioner Hodgkins.
Yeah, when we dismissed Mr. Lynch, he had a package put together, and it seems like there was something missing out of that package, and that was the attorney fees that he incurred because of the action of the town. And so he was probably wishing that he would at least maybe split the fees with him. His attorney actually reduced the amount from 11,000 down to I believe it was 7,000 or 7,500 or something like that. He was wishing that we could see our way through to split those fees.
So, I have questions. Have you reviewed his contract?
I know his contract.
Are the attorney fees included in his contract?
His attorney fees in relation to, yeah.
So he hired an attorney for himself for this.
Yes.
We just cut him a check for roughly $70,000.
That was part of his contract.
As part of his contract.
Right.
But he chose to hire an attorney for himself.
He had to, I believe. I don't think he could have. How was he going? Why? He had to defend himself, I believe.
He had to defend himself on what?
Huh? Well, I don't know if you looked at all the things that was being said, but some of the allegations that were made that I heard were pretty preposterous. They were pretty bad. They were pretty made up. So I think it was a vindictive thing. You have a lawsuit against him. He has one against you. I think there's a lot of vindictive behavior going on, and I just think it wasn't fair the way that he was railroaded out of here. So,
For clarification, he does not have a lawsuit against me. If he's put one together, I have not been served with one. So, but yes, I do. For full transparency, I do have a lawsuit pending against him for slander and defamation. I don't think it's right for the town to have to pay for his attorney fees when he was terminated with cause initially, and then the commission voted to terminate without cause and cut him a check for 14 weeks and paying him out approximately $70,000. I don't think the taxpayer should have to pay his attorney fees. He's the one who chose to hire an attorney. Those are costs that he's going to have to incur.
I don't think he chose to hire an attorney. I think he had to. You have to defend yourself in all kinds of different ways these days.
He's a 32-year attorney or 30-year previous attorney.
So you're saying he should have defended himself? All right, that was the thing put towards it. Split the fees with the town. Does anybody else want to agree with that?
No, I don't feel that's right. We didn't do that to former employees that also had lawsuits against us. They had to pay it themselves.
This would be setting a whole new standard for this
Yeah,
town.
I don't think it's a good idea. We're opening a Pandora's box here.
And the taxpayer shouldn't be on the hook for it. But we can put it on as a line item and discuss it on the 10th if you'd like. I have no issues with that.
Yeah, let's do that when we have everybody here too. And
Put that in as a line item.
And I just soon have 10.6 the same, because I know it's going to go in the same way.
Well, we're going to have to discuss this as well. So 10.6, discussion and possible action for indemnification of David Lynch with regards to the lawsuit filed against him by Mayor Jeffrey Jacobs, sponsored by Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins.
Right, which is actually your lawsuit against him. He has one against you, supposedly. So I think it's tit for tat on this stuff. So I'm thinking you're just dragging it out. So I think we ought to resolve it so we can do away with it.
Can you explain the indemnification process for this to the residents so they know exactly what you're trying to do with their tax dollars?
The process of the identification? I think the town attorney would be better to
You're
explain
the one
that.
who put it on here. I'd like you to explain it to everyone so they know what you're asking for.
It's so that you're saying you won't sue him and he won't sue you, basically. So
That's not what that's saying at all. Go ahead and explain it.
I just did.
That's what you understand indemnification for.
Yeah, it's so you neither one of you hold each other liable and you let it go and you do away with it. That's all you got to do. That's it.
So you're trying to create peace here.
Okay, so let me explain, or town attorney, how about I let you explain indemnification for this, or shall I?
I'll defer to your legal judgment, but at the end of the day, the best answer is that if there's a lawsuit filed and the town is covered by the FMIT, which is the Florida League of Cities defensive arm, which is the insurance carrier, so to speak, for the Florida League, the city would then seek coverage by the FMIT, that lawsuit. And if there were indemnification, which means if there was coverage for an event that would provide for the payment of fees, costs, or expenses, it would be subject to review by the FMIT. And I would not be able to opine tonight as to whether they would pay it or not, but the end result of which is, what do the contracts say, what were the contract obligations, and if there were any that would require it, they'd have to consider those commitments that were made.
I believe the type he was looking for was a statement possibly from Mr. Jacobs and a statement from him agreeing not to sue each other. I think that was the
Town
base.
attorney, I'll take this one from here. So indemnification, what you're asking for is for the town to cover his legal fees. It doesn't drop the
No,
lawsuit.
that was the last item.
This item right here that we're talking about, indemnification. You're asking for possible indemnification.
No,
for
it's not
David
about the
Lynch.
town. It's actually about you.
No, it is about the town. Hold on, because let me explain. You're opening your mouth when you don't know what you're talking about here. You can't even explain indemnification. So what you're asking for is the town and the taxpayers to pay for David Lynch's legal expenses with regards to the lawsuit that was filed against him by me. So what you're asking for is the taxpayers to be on the hook covering his attorney fees. That's what you're asking for. Indemnification is not either one of us dismissing our case. And that's not us shaking hands.
Well, maybe I used the
ways.
wrong word then. Maybe I should just say it should work out some sort of an arrangement where you dismiss yours and he dismisses his, and it's done.
You know what the greatest part of our justice system is? No one can tell me to drop my lawsuit except for myself.
I understand
And
that.
it's completely justified in this case, and it stays as stated. So
That's right. So if you don't want to do it, then he doesn't want to do it, you end up with this thing going on for how long? Who knows? So.
it's fine. I have no issues with that. Anyone have questions about this?
No.
Ashura? I know you do.
Oh, no.
Break out your JD. Come on. I know you want to. You sat there for 8 years in school. You know you want to say something.
I'm pleading the fifth on this one. I was just really confused.
There you go.
By the way,
Okay.
I was
town
confused
attorney,
about a mutual release versus
is the
involved.
town involved in
I
his
was
lawsuit?
I was really confused.
Is the
because
town actually involved in his lawsuit?
Yeah.
Well,
No. Because he had the Whistleblower Act lawsuit against Jacobs?
No, there is no Whistleblower Act lawsuit against me. This is things you don't understand, but like I said, before you speak on things, you need to understand what you're saying, because when you come forward and you yell like HIPAA, you're violating HIPAA. No one's violated HIPAA with you. No one's violated. You don't know what you're talking about when you come forward with these things. You're extremely confused on what indemnification means. You're basically trying to get the taxpayer to pay his legal fees for him by going forward with this item. And if that's what you want, we can make it a line item and we'll discuss it at the next meeting. That's not a problem.
I do want to make it a line item, and the reason I want to do it is because I think he was unfairly dismissed.
It's going to be, I see it. I'm going to keep retract those claws. All right. We'll put this on as a line item for discussion. No, we combined 10.7. It sure doesn't get a second chance at this apple.
you already have my PowerPoint.
All right. Town attorney comments?
the only comments I'd offer is, and without getting into the detail, because I was not in the middle of all of the conversation, but I think that the former manager did sign a release of some sort when the matter was resolved between the parties. That would have to be a document that would have to be reviewed by your counsel, by the town attorney, and by anyone else. But there was a release executed. I know that it was reviewed by insurance defense, by the insurance carrier, as well as by the Mr. Lynch's lawyer, and that might have some bearing on the ultimate decision. But if you choose to take that further, that's a commission discretionary item if you choose to take that step. It's not legally required per se, but it's an option which if you all as a majority sought to do that in some form or fashion, there's no law that would preclude you from not considering it, so to speak. So.
Yeah, I guess my basic thing was that this wouldn't even be an issue if things were done in a different manner. This wouldn't have come up, you know. So.
Go ahead.
That's all I have to say.
Please. I'm trying to refrain.
I'm trying my best to refrain.
I'm trying to be on my best behavior today because this is really hard to hold back on.
It really is, because there's the allegation that things were done wrong, but yet we have a contract with Eisner, Imper, however you pronounce these people's names. I really care less how to pronounce it. You have budget amendments that are flying left, right, and center from the lack of management that has occurred for the past year and a half. You have agencies that are currently doing investigations. One of them is FDLE, the other is the OIG. They did send a letter back stating that all the things that they are actually investigating. And so I'm kind of confused when we're sitting here asking for, you know, attorney's fees to be paid because somebody was terminated with cause even though the state is not pressing criminal charges for one action, we don't know about other actions that are coming to light. And the fact that all of these balls are up in the air, all these investigations are active, and to ask for indemnification for what, I'm not sure, because I'm assuming you really mean a mutual release of both parties suing each other. But, you know, if he was doing his action under the guise of being a responsible town manager and not doing things like wrongfully, maliciously, you know, or a gazillion other things, but like this is just kind of like a little baffling. These two items are very baffling to me, is what I'm going to say. And then to ask the taxpayers to be responsible for paying the attorney's fees, and also to violate your constitutional rights to sue. I'm just kind of like blown away with both items. So, you know, I apologize. I'm going to retract my clause. I'm going to turn my mic off. But I just wanted to put that on the record.
Okay. Have a good day. I got to get out of here.
You said it. I don't need to say anything else.
I tried. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Town manager.
Okay, I have a few things for the good of the order. First, I want to remind everybody that their Form 1 financial disclosure needs to be filed by July 1st. Also, the Forvis Mazer recommendations should be forthcoming soon. That would include, I believe, I have spoken with them and verbally with the partner, Jamie Amos, and one of those recommendations is going to be that we have our town attorney construct a loan memorization, and with a disclaimer that the loan was made without the permission or the knowledge of the town commission and so forth and so on. The language, of course, Jacob will draft. Also, the ARPA audit, we are close to coming to signing a contract with a firm to do that audit. Jacob was out of town. I did not get a chance to discuss where we were with that, but he has been back and forth with the firm. But that's going to happen soon.
What about the regular audit?
I did not have a chance to talk to Lisette today about that. Was on my list to speak with her about, but I believe that the last time I did speak with her about it, there were only a few remaining items that they needed. She was running those down with different departments that needed to submit information. I believe that we are on track to get one by the end of this month or the first days of June. It should be on the agenda for June 10th. And I will check. That is on my list to follow up with tomorrow.
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, okay.
Friday.
And then the last thing, I would call on Mr. Odoms, if he is still here.
Yep, he's there.
He's here. He's hiding in the back.
To give us an update on the GeoSCADA reimbursements. This is a little bit of good news, and I'd like to end the meeting with that.
One more time for the record, Jeff. Good evening, Mayor, Commission, Jeff Odoms, Public Works Director. Should like to just have that like on play over and over, right? As you know, part of our work here is to go through grants and to put in for reimbursements and things of that nature for many of the projects that have gone forward. So this week we received a grant reimbursement of $302,000 for the GeoSCADA project. So that was a good, positive thing for us to kind of go through this week on. As you know, we've made some other gains with some other projects, reimbursements. Again, not for the sake of time, just simply to say that this is just another one that have started to come through the door.
Has that been, I know it was Sigerson, you, me, and the lobbyists, we worked hard on that. It was like 580 or something. We're
just under 600, yeah.
Under 600. So
yeah, this is just the first. This is two parts.
This is the first part of it?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, this is the first part. This is the midpoint. So at the end, we should be getting another one once we close out the project.
How much longer on that project do you think? Just rough estimate.
Maybe 6 months.
Okay.
Okay.
maybe. There were a couple of issues, so we're working through those, some easement issues, things like that with different areas in the town. As we clear those up, they'll move faster in completing out the work.
Great. Congrats. Thanks.
The summer? The summer work?
Summer.
Talk about.
Oh, yeah. No, go ahead. Yeah.
So
Forgot.
it's okay. So just a couple other things we're working on. A lot of the work that you've previously approved of is going to begin to materialize this summer. And I stood up previously because the elevators was mentioned in passing conversation on an earlier item. The elevators are scheduled to start in July, right? July.
Somewhere.
So in July. The AC is due right now. He should have all of his parts and pieces in the first week of June. We're planning a meeting with them, God willing, next week to begin to map out the schedule. They're saying about 4 weeks per floor because it's 3 individual units. So it's basically 4 weeks per floor. A lot of work is going to be going on simultaneously, so it's going to be about balance and operation, being able to facilitate utilizing the building while different things are going on. But for the most part, we will have a list of all of the different things because there are multiple things. The stucco and the paint supposed to happen this summer. The elevator, as I mentioned, the AC, we want to get them started on the generator, as you approved earlier, to be on the next agenda for the construction of the building outside here. We're anticipating the modular building to arrive during the summer. So again, there may be 1 or 2 things left out of my memory right now, but just to let you know that things are moving and progressing, and hopefully when you return from hiatus, you should see some significant changes.
Thank you. Eric?
I'm good. No comments.
Sure. Really? I have no comments either. So, just not going to let our tax dollars go out the window frivolously like that. So, announcements. Regular commission meeting will be Wednesday, June 10th, 2026 at 7 p.m. Mr. Roach, we'll see you here. Special. You're not going to be here? I won't send the police looking for you this time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for the update. You can watch remotely. You can dial in. So, special magistrate hearing will be Wednesday, June 17th, 2026 at 9 a.m. Budget workshop meeting will be Wednesday, August 26th at 5 p.m. Workshop commission meeting will be Wednesday, August 26th at 6 p.m. Special events, we have our food giveaways will be Saturday, May 30th, Saturday, June 27th, Saturday, June 25th, and Saturday, June 29th at 9 a.m. Our annual backpack giveaway will be Saturday, August 8th at 10 a.m. Is that going to be here at Town Hall? At Town Hall. And let's see what else we have.
You should give me my community center and get it built.
It ain't going to be done by then. This is Pembroke Park. We don't even have a clock that works in Chambers anymore.
We have one. The digital one works.
The digital one works, but the analog that's always running a few minutes behind is the bat. Can we get a new battery in the clock?
Well, Public Works.
Not that clock.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
All right. Broward Property Appraiser, Homestead Mobile Exemption Education Team. Tuesday.
Broward County, it comes at least twice, every 2 months
Yeah.
to the town and stays here for about 2 hours so that residents can come and apply for homestead exemption while they're here. While they're here.
The only thing is you can't homestead a mobile.
Well, but that's, and then
Well,
they usually ask surrounding cities.
Yeah, in a lot lease you cannot.
There's something going on there. There's some new bills that actually is addressing that issue.
But it allows
you're paying for a lot lease. We'll discuss it
But
later.
we're also paying indirectly property taxes
So,
That's a pass-through.
$14 a month pass-through taxes.
I know.
so generally, from my understanding, they've been coming here at least every 2 months, and it's been,
Versus like $1,000
Yeah.
a month on a regular home.
so they come here, they sit here for an hour to 2 hours. If people come, residents from surrounding cities who want to apply for homestead exemption or get information, they come and see them.
Well, then they will be here June 16th, 2026 from 11:30 to 1 and August 18th, 2026 from 11:30 to 1. Entertain a motion to adjourn. Time is now 8:24 and 15 seconds.
In life, yes.
Are
Good to
adjourned.
see you, David.
Yes, it's-
Good night, everybody. Thank you for coming. Be safe.
I tried.
I
I tried.
I was hoping
We
you
had
were,
72 people watching.
so
it.
I didn't have to.
I was trying.
And please, can you use